We are at a pivotal moment in public health. It means that what we do is we work hard to eliminate any sorts of child maltreatment or neglect. We raise kids up, but we also raise parents to learn how to be loving and responsible and supportive. And we prepare communities how to support kids through difficult times because we believe it's going to make a difference. What do we know happens to kids? Not all kids. Many kids come through trauma just fine. But what happens to kids? What happens is their brain is more likely to become, the amygdala, which is the frog brain, the reactive brain, is on fire. The cerebral cortex, which is the thinking part of the brain that kind of slows down the emotions or processes the emotions, is hurt. The hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that helps you integrate thoughts, feelings, and facts, is damaged. So what does it mean kids are like when they've been traumatized? Not all kids, but they're more likely to be hypervigilant, to never know when something bad is going to happen. As a result, they don't necessarily trust us, and they've earned the right to not trust us. What else does it make you? It makes you reactive. It makes you more likely to be volatile, to snap in a second. Why? Because you had to. What else? It makes you more likely to be dissociative, to zone out. Why? If you speak to someone who's been abused, they can remember what their ceiling looked like. They can remember the crack on the ceiling, how many dots were on the tiles, but they don't remember their childhood. Thank God, because it's protective for them to have lost those memories. And then they needed to fill up those spaces, those absent moments, with a story. So they might be more likely to confabulate, to make up stories that might not make sense to the rest of us. They might be more likely to lie. Why? Because if your daddy comes home and he opens up the refrigerator and wants a hot dog and he says, "Hey, who took the last hot dog?" and you said, "Me, daddy," and then you get thrown against the wall, you learn to say, "I don't know. We're the big hairy monster." So people who have been through trauma might be more likely to be reactive. They might be more likely to lie. They might be more likely to confabulate, to make things up, to zone out, to not be aware of things, to not trust people, which means that sometimes it's really hard to work with people who have been through trauma. Because, I'm worthy of trust. I'm a sweet guy. How can you be reactive to me? We know what it's not about you. And core to being able to love people under any condition is to know what's about you and what's not about you. Core to being able to love is to be able to look at a human being with a different frame, a different lens. So that rather than looking at them with what's wrong with you, you look at them with what happened to you. Now, that doesn't mean you should say that to a kid, because it'll trigger them. But when you can calm yourself amidst any behavior by knowing something happened to the kid, it enables us to love. Another big thing we have to do is learn how to hold people's pain without owning their pain. We can't conquer their past, but we can make it safe to feel again. We can hold their pain. And when we do this, we learn appropriate boundaries, we learn how to protect kids, we learn how to move kids forward. I talked about what kids are like who are traumatized, and some of it doesn't sound so positive. But I'm blessed to be able to work with these kids. And let me tell you something. I don't want trauma to be just another label, just another thing that is wrong with you. What I will tell you is that the kids I work with, yeah, they may be traumatized, but by and large, they're the most sensitized human beings you're ever going to meet. These are the kids who want to repair the world. These are the kids who are frustrated by the what is and begin to think about the possibility of what ifs. If we can capture these kids at this pivotal moment in their lives and really support them in a loving and nurturing way, these are the kids who want to be our future social workers, our doctors, our nurses, our police officers. That's who our DHS workers. This is who all of my kids want to be because they've seen injustice, they've seen wrong, and they want to correct it. It's a magical moment in time. If we can harness their sensitivity and make them know that trauma is awful, but it also creates growth. Resilience is not about invulnerability. Resilience is about being able to bounce. When we're looking at what successful kids should be, we want to raise a generation of kids who are compassionate, who are loving, who are generous of spirit, who are empathetic. These kids that I'm talking about who have been through so much, who have been through so much heart, they have this by the gallonful when we can draw it out and make it safe again for them to feel.